Michael Verney in studio again. It's our pleasure.
Not a bad thing or a good thing?
It's our pleasure.
How are you?
Good, yeah. You just said there as we were about to start, you should play a bit of commentary just to get the kind of the feels going. So
Well, I have the feels even thinking about the commentary I suggested.
Oh yeah, go on. What one?
No, it was Demon and Cato Star, and I love Cato Star, and this was one of my worst moments in racing because I was a big Cato Star fan, but Demon beat him anyway, and it was like relentless, remorseless. The answer is Demon, and it was just like even I get goosebumps, and I wasn't the horse's biggest fan. I was the horse that was vanquished. I was his biggest fan. But there's some great clips down through the years. Then obviously you've Dawn Run, she's beginning to get up. And it's just this sort of thing is just etched in your brain. Like, it's brilliant.
Well, we'll play out with it.
Good
How
stuff.
about that?
Yeah, that'll do.
So you'll be covering the festival next week?
Yeah, you're heading over Monday now, yeah.
March 10th to 13th, 28 races, 7 each day. Away we go. Funny, I was just thinking this time last year, you and Cornelius Lycett were on, and one of the big themes we chatted about last year. Then there was there were lots of articles about the fan experience in decline, ticket sales are slow, and I suppose maybe just to touch on that theme for a moment. Like I've seen Guy Lavender has taken over. Obviously, he's the chief executive since 25, and he's starting to make changes. Like they've reduced the capacity from 68,500 to 66,000 because there was a feedback that it's too busy. I think the price of a pint has come down maybe 30p.
Yeah.
You can bring drink to, more parts of the ground. They've reintroduced Ladies' Day on Wednesday, which was the most poorly attended day in recent seasons. So they're trying to make the fan experience good again. I don't know if they brought down ticket prices. Probably not. But
yeah, it's funny when you're a journalist, you're
privileged.
a bit, yeah, and you don't kind of maybe take as much notice of those kind of things. Like I know, like for the November meeting, I think it was the November meeting, did 40,000+ at it, which is phenomenal. Which would be more than they would have on, maybe one of those quiet days at the festival.
And their New Year's Day meeting, I was reading this year, was record breaking.
Yeah. No,
so it shows the interest is there.
Oh, the interest is definitely there. Yeah, like I had a few friends from home that are all going over. Can't wait again. And it's an annual kind of pilgrimage for a lot of people. It's like just one of these things that's written into the calendar. The kids and the family, they know that you're gone for these 4 days or a couple of days or whatever. What I love the most about Cheltenham is the Monday evening at Cheltenham, and up until I think the start is now 1:20 on a Tuesday. It used to be 1:30. Everybody's an expert. Everybody has all the answers. You're just giddy, excited. Once it starts, it rolls on. And you realise I didn't have the answer, and very few people did. But I think it's I always with sport. I always think you have to get excited, and for the build up, the anticipation has to be massive. Sometimes it doesn't live up to the anticipation. Like a lot of big matches, etc., don't live up to the anticipation. So if you don't get buzzed and built up before in the weeks and the days leading up to it, I think you're not enjoying the experience as much. I'll put it to you that way. And Cheltenham is great, and I always meet. Barry Lenihan. It's not Barry Lenihan from RTE. I meet him every Monday somewhere in Cheltenham. He's usually a little bit merry. I'm merry for a different reason. And it's just talking about this race. What do you think he'll win this? What do you think he'll win that? And it's just, you meet the same faces generally year on year, and everybody is absolutely buzzing. It's brilliant.
And it's retained its luster.
Totally, yeah. Totally, yeah. It's that pilgrimage. A lot of people, it's just written into the calendar and you're going there. Whether it's for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or if you're able to somehow stay standing for the 4 and enjoy yourself on the evenings after. I don't know how anybody does that, but some people do.
We touched on Constitution Hill last week, and it was going down over fences, and they switched to flat, and it was a would they, won't they for the champion hurdle, which Constitution Hill won in 23, of course, and they've decided they won't, which people have generally applauded as the responsible decision.
Yeah, it's just what I said to you. It was the ramifications of if something negative happened on the biggest stage of them all in one of the biggest races of the week. If he hadn't achieved it before, I'd imagine the result would have been different. If he hadn't went and won at Cheltenham twice before, he's already ticked that box. Michael Buckley, the owner, and Nicky Henderson, obviously just taken in of a lot of opinions, I'd say. And Nicky described it as one of the hardest decisions he's ever had to make, and he's been in training over 50 years. I think they've probably made a sensible decision from a PR point of view. And they also have a horse to get really excited about for a flat campaign this year, and something completely different. And also, like, there's possibility of him coming to the Curragh this year. And like I've said it to you before, the Curragh has been, terribly attended in comparison, since the revamp, in comparison to years ago when I went to the Curragh and there was 40,000 there for the Derby. But there's the prospect of him maybe coming for maybe an Irish St. Ledger or something like that. And that would re-energise, it kind of might re-energise the flat game again, because he's one of jump racing's biggest superstars, and you saw in Suddle that Friday night was just gone mental. And it could have a good knock-on effect on the flat as well. Jump racing is in a pretty safe place as regards following and stuff like that. There's a certain romanticism to jump racing, particularly in Ireland and obviously in England as well, and people will just go to these things regardless, whereas flat racing, particularly in Ireland, quite poorly attended. Something like that happening would really, raise a lot of fanfare.
Davy Russell, just before you joined us, was really talking about this 2026 edition as one of the most open he can remember. He called it kind of a Cheltenham for the ages. Unpredictability everywhere in the big races.
Yeah, before Marine National was ruled out yesterday, Marine National was winner of the Champion Chase last year. Before he was ruled out, there was no odds on favourite for any race in the 28. Which in recent years, with Willie Mullins' dominance, would have been unheard of.
In the 28?
In the 28, yeah. Now, Majborough's odds on in the Champion Chase as a result of the defending champion being out. That's the first and only odds on shot at the minute. It's so open. You look through so many races and you can make a case for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And is there a broad reason for that? Are we just at the end of a cycle of a lot of great horses retiring, or what would you put it down to?
Probably a lot of it is that Willie Mullins has been maybe slower to hit stride this year than other years. Don't get me wrong, he still had 11 winners over Christmas, which is a lot. But by his standards, maybe the Dublin Racing Festival wasn't maybe as successful as it has been. Usually after the Dublin Racing Festival, you have 3 to 4 odds on shots coming into Cheltenham. They're the Mullins bankers, they're the Irish bankers. One of his bankers, Narciso Has in the Triumph Hurdle, was ruled out a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I'd say it's a lot to do with
Mullins.
The spectre of Mullins not looking as domineering and totally been clouded over the whole scene as other years.
And has he had years previously where similarly he's not looking as kind of poised or in form, his stable, and then come Cheltenham it all worked out, or generally is he looking pretty domineering coming into it?
Generally he looks pretty domineering coming into it.
This is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's different. Like the Supreme is the first race. Is usually like what's with all the talk from all the racing community all winters, what's Willie Mullins' supreme horse? Because everybody knows, particularly with gambling, like if you get off to a good start, you're kind of on the pig's back. And Mullins would have had loads of money on whoever it was in the first, whether it was Duvan or whoever it was down through the years, Classical Dream even in recent years. There's no obvious Mullins horse in the first race now. And his first string, if Mighty Park goes for the Turners, which is expected to do, his first string could go off double figure odds in the first race, which would be unheard of.
Right.
And that could happen in a couple of novice races, which is not the usual thing.
What has he publicly put the lack of red hot form down to?
Well, there's all sorts of different narratives, not so publicly, about maybe problems with their gallops and things like this, where horses might have missed a week or two or something like that. He's never spoken about that publicly. That's floating around the ether, whether true or otherwise. I kind of put it to him. He never said anything about the gallops. He just said it's been a bit slower than normal. But he always has his string. They always come on for a run. They never peak at Christmas. They don't peak at the Dublin Racing Festival. They peak at Cheltenham, Aintree, Fairyhouse, Punchestown. So I'd say he has enough credit in the bank to think that's probably going to happen again to a fair point. I don't think he's going to have 10 winners or anything like that. Like 10 is his record haul. Don't think he'll have anything like that. But he'll still routinely enough have 6 or 7, you'd imagine.
And he's 5-1 on to be leading trainer.
Yeah.
So his stock hasn't capitulated.
No, and as someone was saying recently as well, like Paul Townend is a much bigger price to be champion jockey. But Willie Mullins doesn't have to go out and ride in every race. So Paul Townend could be injured after the first day or whatever. So 1 to 5, I'd say, are pretty safe. Yeah, pretty safe. Like he's at 113 Cheltenham Festival winners at the minute. Like it's ridiculous. Like the numbers he's accumulated in the last decade alone, like it's crazy. Beyond anybody's wildest dreams of the amount of winners anybody could train at Cheltenham, realistically. Nicky Henderson was the record holder. I'm going to say it was around high 60s, early 70s, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And like, look at that now, like blown out of the water. Blown out of the water.
100 unthinkable, really.
Really, it is. It's mad.
We're going to go through all 28 races.
We are. I have my camp set up in the corner over here.
What races would you like to talk to us about?
Sure, the championship races are always the most interesting. But just one thing I will say, there's a Willie Mullins bingo that happens in the weeks leading up to Cheltenham, because he has horses double entered and sometimes triple entered. Say a horse like Mighty Park, you don't know whether he's running the Supreme or whether he's running the Turners, and unless he publicly comes out and says it, you don't know until declarations for the Supreme are made at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Oh, that's a nuisance for preview pods.
Oh, very difficult, yeah. Same with Gaelic Warrior and Factifile. Factifile is Gold Cup favourite if he runs, but he's not guaranteed to run. Needs to be supplemented for the race, and a decision hasn't been made on that yet. Gaelic Warrior, the same. Could run in the Ryanair, could run in the Gold Cup. It makes previewing the races, there's almost like a caveat to a lot of the races, which is same with Lassie Mountain, the champion hurdle. You don't know whether she will run. She's won 3 times in Cheltenham, a Triumph and 2 Mayor's hurdles. The champion hurdle is as weak as it's been this year, but you still don't know whether she's going to run. She might run in the Mayor's as she has the last couple of years. So there's a lot of stuff up in the air, and yeah, that bingo card, that's, you don't know what way he's going to play it. And by his nature, he waits until the very last second. It'll be literally, could be 5 minutes to 10 on Sunday morning when the decision is made. So
why?
In his head, I think, we were chatting to him about it a couple of weeks ago, he accumulates as much information as he can as possible. And I was saying to you on a GA pod recently, we were saying about Jim McGuinness, saying doesn't listen to anybody, doesn't really take counsel from anyone left his one. He'll take counsel from Patrick, David Casey, Ruby, Paul Townend. Everything will be thrown into the pot. They'll chat about this week, they'll chat about tomorrow, they'll chat about the next day, but ultimately a decision won't be made until the last possible minute. I suppose it makes sure that you make the right decision and that you are happy with the decision that's made, and you haven't said, okay, we're definitely running the champion, and the horse isn't coming to form, and you're like, well, I want to go back to the Mares, but there's going to be a public outcry. So he kind of said the last time was going to run the champion hurdle last year. I think he did anyway, and he reneged on it then when push came to shove, because she wasn't in the form he thought to win a champion hurdle, and she strolled home in the Mayor's hurdle. So he leaves these decisions to the very, very last second.
Okay. Well, give us a word then on champion hurdle Tuesday. Lossiemouth is in the running, kind of second favourite behind the New Line. The New Line's about 15-8.
Yeah. The New Line is favourite for that race. Won the Turners at the festival last year. Form of that hasn't worked out particularly well. He fell in the fighting fifth at the start of this year. Mad race, same race that Constitution Hill fell in. The defending champion of the champion hurdle ended up winning that race, Golden Ace. She's completely overlooked again, despite being the defending champion. She just seems to pick up the pieces anytime anything goes wrong, like it did in the champion hurdle last year and like it did in the fighting fifth. She's not without her chance. Worries about whether the New Line is fast enough over 2 miles. Same with Lossiemouth. She's more of a 2.5 miler, so they're probably more likely to go to the Mares. It's as weak a champion hurdle as I've seen in a long time. Probably since Istabrack pulled up in that, when he was going for 4 in a row, and I'm going to pronounce it wrong. It was Ors La Loire or something like that. Won that race at a big price. It is wide open. Wide open, and it's crying for somebody to step up to the mantle. Somebody will, but it's, as of yet, it's kind of hard to say who. And the will she, won't she, with Lossiemouth is a massive narrative in that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, German Chase is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Majborough is the one odds-on favourite, 8-11. So that's interesting when you say about the champion hurdle. Races can be very hard to predict for 2 reasons: either not super strong, or super strong and full of quality. Is Champion Chase on Wednesday similar, that it's not brimming with like all-time quality?
Yeah, you would say that again. Now, the odds-on of Majborough comes with an almighty health warning. In the last 10 years, Duvan was beaten at odds-on, pulled up. El Fabiolo was beaten at odds-on. Who else was beaten at odds-on? Sprinter Sacra pulled up in one as favourite. There's been like a mountain of horses beaten at odds on the Champion Chase in the last 10 years. I'm going to say probably 7 of the 10. It's been the biggest shocker of the week has usually come in the Champion Chase in the last decade.
Any theories why?
It's a 2 mile chase. if you ask anybody, jockey or trainer, they'll probably tell you, what's your favourite race at Cheltenham? The Champion Chase, just because it's breakneck speed, so fast, you're flying down over these fences, and a lot of it is, if you make one mistake, you don't recover.
You're out.
Yeah, El Fabiolo hit a fence 2 years ago, I think, when going off at 2-7, I think, and that was it. Just shuddering to a halt. Like in a 3 mile chase, you might have a chance. In a 2 mile chase, you don't. And the funny thing about Margeborough is, was unbelievable at the Dublin Racing Festival, but like hit every fence in the Arca last year and just found a way to lose the race. Again, had odds on, I think. So is he the most bomb-proof odds-on shot in the most, lottery-style race of the week? Definitely not. But he's the best horse in the race by quite a distance if he stands up and negotiates his way from one side to the other in a kind of healthy fashion that doesn't take time away from him.
Okay, but that's been a big if down the years.
Yeah.
Stayers Hurdle Thursday. Again, we have Tihupu 2-1.
Yeah, Tiupu's just been there and done it. Has been on the scene the 3 years that he's run in it. Won it the middle year. Looked like he was going to win it last year, and Bob Ollinger came from off the pace under Rachel Blackmore to win that. This is his 4th time here. He probably should have won it more than once, realistically, and that would be the worry in what haven't been like vintage years for the Stayers Hurdle. I suppose he's found a way to not get the job done in 2 of the 3 years. And it must be mentioned as well, this is the first year since, Absolute Tar in 2018, when Rachel Blackmore really announced herself on the scene, and she won't be in Cheltenham this year. I think she's like, I got the wrong title here, but she's like Chief Coordinator of Ladies' Day or something like that. She's the face of Ladies' Day. But she won't be obviously involved in a working capacity this year. And it takes away a little bit of the star power from it, because the best moment I've ever witnessed in Cheltenham was when Honeysuckle won the Mares, and the late Jack de Bromhead had passed away in the months beforehand, and Henry's dad obviously and trainer of the horse, and Honeysuckle was such a public phenomenon almost, and that was like the most probably the most emotional scene I've ever seen in any sport, to be honest with you. It was crazy. Like, you had the vanquished horses and trainers like clapping them in. Like, where would you get it? Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely unbelievable. And there was a din around Cheltenham for half an hour after. It was crazy.
Well, the de Bromhead tragedy then was still so raw.
Yeah.
You could see it in Henry's face, his eyes. It was layers upon layers going on. Again, do you put that in the class of more on the low quality side than high?
Yeah, probably, yeah. It's funny, the Stayers Hurdle would traditionally have always been the day 3 feature. The Ryanair Chase nearly has more appeal now. Like, that's actually in the marquee position, shall we say. I think it's 4 o'clock anyway. That's in the 4 o'clock position.
Yeah.
Or it might be the 3:20 position, but that's in the marquee race time. So, and the Ryanair is like, sure, we've no clue about the Ryanair at the minute. Fact the File will be heavy odds on favourite if he runs in it. We don't know if he's running it. Gaelic Warrior will be heads on favourite, or heavy odds on favourite if he runs in it. We don't know if he runs in it.
They're both down for Gold Cup as well.
Yeah. So Fact the File won the Ryanair well last year. Gaelic Warrior has won the Arkle there. There's a lot of ifs and buts around a lot of the races, and I think it does take a bit away from it, because it's,
you can't get your teeth into who's going to
win.
Well,
it's like if me and you were previewing the All-Ireland final here and Limerick are playing Cork. And
Limerick.
Yeah, there's 4.
No, Limerick.
Well, just say Peter Casey, Will O'Donoghue, and whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a problem.
We don't know if they have doubts about their fitness or whatever, or suspensions. We don't know until the last minute. And we don't know about a lot of these races until 48 hours out.
It's even more pronounced in, like, not a team game. It's like is Tiger Woods playing? Is Rory playing? It's impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm reading, to continue the theme, Gold Cup, it's about as open a Gold Cup from this vantage point as you've ever had.
Very open, yeah. The Brits haven't won it since 2018. Native River won it in 2018. This is their best chance to win it.
Davey said, Russell, that the British fight back is on. Presbyterian Cup. Now, the Presbyterian Cup odds, Ireland are 1-9.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much it's on.
They're never usually too far off, to be fair. But
do you sense that the BHA and there's been talk the last couple of years of, we need to address this Irish dominance?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a sense going into this year that there's a lot. Like, you look at the Supreme, the favourite is English trained, All Park Star. Look at the Arkle, the favourite is English trained, Lulamba. Look at, they always win the Ultima on the Tuesday. They have the favourite for the Champion Hurdle on the Tuesday in the New Lion. So they have a lot more horses up at the top bracket in some of the bigger races than they would have had. Like, the Gold Cup is fascinating. You have Django Bay for Nicky Henderson, And then, like, this would be the story of the week and the story of the year if the Harry Redknapp owned the Jukebox Man wins the Gold Cup.
Well, the Jukebox Man, I didn't know, owned by Harry Redknapp,
Yeah.
is kind of joint second favourite at 5-1. And Factophile, who may not run, is only 9-2.
Yeah.
So the boy Redknapp has a. Will he like put down his car window if he wins and do a quick word with the press on the way out the gate?
In fairness to him, he's been brilliant. Like Ben Paulin trains the horse, and all the media were out with Ben Paulin last week, and Harry was there.
I'd say he loves it.
I would love it. Yeah.
It'd be up his street. This,
and it's just like you wouldn't have that with any other owners. If you go down to Willie Mullins, you're not going to have Rich Ritchie and Audrey Turley and all the owners there. But he's kind of a special case, and he's exactly kind of what racing needs, really, because he's so colourful.
Well, that elevates it, say, on the BBC News sports section.
Totally.
To the first story.
Yeah.
If Harry Redknapp is there, in tears.
Yeah.
Jamie beside him. Sandra, you know.
But that's what you want, isn't it? You want the biggest race of the week, you want it to be the lead bulletin. And that gives it the cachet to potentially be that.
Whereas
he has a chance.
I would put it to you, Factophile wins, it's not. In the same way.
No, it's not. There's no point in saying
it's not the back page of the paper.
No, it's not. It's a sports headline,
yeah.
But it's not a news headline.
So do you come into this then? Because Davy Russell again said, for the ages, love it. You know, I'm absolutely fine with maybe the quality coming down, but the unpredictability factor, kind of, God, what's going to happen aspect being high compensates. Are you of the same mind, or do you come into this going, I want my superstars. I want my dominant. He's 1-11. No one can beat him. And watch him he destroyed them like we all said he would. It was such a kind of vintage performance. Where are you on that?
Yeah, well, just on the unpredictability thing, like I can only remember one year, that was 2021, when it was in any way predictable. Like most of the favourites obliged that year. It was a crazy kind of year. It's Cheltenham. There's always going to be.
That's true. It's wrong to frame it as like.
Like, there's no, like, it will just be. It's outside of that year, which was a total kind of nearly anomaly.
Yeah.
It is completely unpredictable.
Then the better question is does quality being down make you less excited?
I would hazard a guess and say by close of play on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday that there will be massive stars created, basically. And that's where, like, Galloping the Champ is probably already one of the biggest stars. Like, if he regains the Gold Cup on the Friday, which only one horse has ever done before, Cotto Star won it in 07, beaten in 08 by them, and then won it in 09, he'd be a 3-time Gold Cup winner, and I think he's 10. Like, that would be phenomenal story. There's plenty of stars there, and there's plenty of new stars waiting to kind of break through as well, both from an equine point of view and from a jockey and a trainer point of view. Like, even there's some great stories. I was chatting to Declan Queally yesterday. Declan Quealy's an amateur jockey. He's probably the mid to late 30s. He's assistant trainer to his father, also Declan, in Waterford. He rides 2 horses in Grade 1s at Cheltenham. One of them that has a squeak, definitely I'll sort that in the Turners. He only has 21 rides against professionals in a year. That's all you're capped at doing. Something similar to Patrick Mullins would have. And like, what a story that would be. Like, a fella, like, it's mad. He's gone over with his family. It's almost like a holiday. They're all staying together in the house. The 3 kids, the whole shebang. He said they have a pool table. I said, what's a good week? He said, like, he'd love to win a race or whatever, and he has a chance. But a good week is as long as I can jump into the taxi or the car and go and get a McDonald's with my kids after. Like, here, excellent, come on.
You're giving us those lines.
Yeah, like, that was within about a minute and a half of the interview, like. And it's just like, that's a completely different story. He already won his first Grade 1 at Naas this year. And he made a real good point as well. He was like in what other discipline can I, as an amateur, I can't play in an All-Ireland final. I can't play in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? I can't play in the Champions League. But in racing, you kind of can do these things. Do you know what I mean? It's nuts, and it's not. There's no like nepotism involved here. The owners have to. He doesn't own the horses.
Yeah.
The owners have to want him.
They rate him
to be on the horses. They rate him. Very interesting about Declan as well. Declan spent time with Barney Curley back in the day. Like, and you were talking. We were chatting on bits and bobs last week about, you know, beloved sports heroes, and I should have brought it up. Like, hands down, without a shadow of doubt, without any contradiction, Barney Curley would be my number one. If I could meet and sit down with anybody for a couple hours and just listen to them and be in awe. And unfortunately, he's passed, but he was a larger than life racing figure. He had his hands, his fingerprints all over the greatest gambles in the history of the game. I love that aspect of racing. I love the aspect of the coup, the stroke, the nod and the wink a bit. If you know what way the nod and the wink is going, we did there for a brief period of time. We were getting kind of good word. It's an unbelievable thing to be part of. And obviously he had his charity as well that he set up, DAFA, where he built schools in Zambia and housed loads of people and educated loads of kids and stuff like that. But Declan worked for him when he was like in his teens. And Declan, of the four-timer that Barney tried to land in 2010, Declan rode two of them. He was beaten on a horse that basically cost Barney probably about 25 million. He's brother of Tom, who obviously rode Frankel back in the day as well. Declan Queally is just like so colourful. Like there's so much colour. And that's the type of story that's there bubbling under the surface. Several other stories like that as well. And hopefully it always happens. A couple of them will come to the forefront next week.
Okay. We had several emails in wondering how you got on running the gallops. So I think on Saturday, all will be revealed. Do you want to give us a one sentence? Tough, I'm presuming?
Oh, yeah. Jesus.
Running straight uphill in very heavy going. Tough.
It was just a good few people were on to me as well, and it really caught the imagination for whatever reason, I don't know. And it was more like Kilimanjaro than Owning Hill now. It was literally never ending, and it was like,
what was it again? 2 miles?
No, it was actually only 7 furlongs,
which
is about 1,400 meters. Kilometre and a half.
You're a pretty fit dude. I mean, I wouldn't think that'd be.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. My God.
Did you pull up? Or sorry, is that a spoiler?
No spoilers. I survived. I'll put it to that. I tell you something. I had a delayed reaction. My body was in shock a couple of days after. I felt great. I felt like okay after it, like reasonable. Like then, like I got home that evening. I didn't have ideal preparation. I was up feeding the 5-month-old at 1:30, and I was up again at 6, and I had to drive down to Owning and drive back, and I wasn't properly fueled before or after. But like, geez, my legs were shaking the next day. My voice went as well. It was mental.
Your body shut down.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But it was cool. I had a tractor following me up, so I ran it in the half an hour between lots. But between the lots, a tractor goes up and down. I wouldn't say ploughing, like rolling it almost and making sure it's safe, smoothing out. So he was driving about 10 kilometres an hour behind me.
Oh yeah,
and he didn't have to pass me out or anything.
All right.
Yeah. Now maybe he took his time or whatever. But I was kind of looking at him, and he was a nice little gauge. There's speedometers the whole way up as well, which was interesting. You only click them off if you hit 15.
Right.
I didn't.
No clicks.
And the horses are going up like routinely. Like 35, 36, 37, 38. Like it's wicked, like it is wicked. It gives you some appreciation for what they do. And they do that twice. So they go up, they trap back down slowly, and they go up again. Yeah. It's mad.
They're remarkable animals.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And like, Joe, not being smart, see my pencil there, like the legs are like, all the weight is, in their arse, in their body or whatever, and then you have these sticks of legs. Like it is like they weren't made to in a way they were made to race, but the amount of weight going through, like look at human legs on a football field, nice big trunks, big quads, big calves, like stickly legs, like, but all this weight could be 550, 600 kilos going through. It's mental, really. Mental. It's no wonder they do get injured. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Saturday I get to watch this spectacle.
Yeah, there's a video going out and I'm just doing a piece around it as well.
And your conclusion, horses better at running than humans. It's really, will it be front page? I mean, maybe.
It's hardly groundbreaking news, but it was some experience now. It was a fair experience now. And it's a weird setup where we drove up before we did it. And it's just like, there is no end to this. And you get to a point where you think it's the end, and there's a turn, and it goes further up.
Oh, and it's steep.
Oh my God, yeah,
steep.
Yeah,
steep.
I got some advice before I started, and luckily I heeded the advice after a couple of 100 meters.
What was that?
Just to not blow a gasket and not try and go off at a ridiculous pace and do the old slow and steady. It was, what's that? Is it a parable about the tortoise
And the
getting
hare.
there eventually? Just stay, just keep tipping away.
Don't disgrace
It
yourself.
was great. It was, I wouldn't say- would you call it fun? Sadistic type of fun, maybe.
Yeah.